Today's recipe has become our family's favorite new weekly meal. This recipe comes in with heaping amounts of protein, loads of fiber, plenty of nutrition, including B12, and it really slows things down for the week, helping you tap into that mental side of your health. So my daughters are like the biggest skeptics in the house. All kids are, but these kids have no shame. I remember this one time, my youngest daughter, she looked me dead in my eye, tasted one of my meals, and spit it right back into the plate. This time, she tasted it and she gave me a pat on the back. And then I immediately thought, wait, who's raising who here? Let's go over what you're gonna need so you get a pat on the back too. Yellow onions, a lot of them, garlic, broccolini, canned cannellini beans, raw cashews, unsweetened dairy-free milk, chilies in adobo sauce, white miso, Dijon mustard, nutritional yeast, lemon juice, and seasonings to bring this all together. On our cutting board, we're starting off with our onions. To keep my work surface free of bacteria, I wash my onions just like I do any other vegetable. You're gonna slice the onions in half, then again horizontally, and this makes the perfect onions for caramelizing. Next up is our garlic. Since I used most of my knife skills cutting those onions, I opted to use my garlic press to get this part done. Next, let's talk about what we can do to top this. First, prep your baking tray and line it with parchment paper. Then add onto the tray your wash and rinsed broccolini. Of course, if you can't find broccolini, you could always do normal broccoli, cauliflower, green beans, or something else of your choice that you feel would be great on the top of this. With our broccolini laid out, drizzle on some olive oil. Next, sprinkle on some salt and pepper just to taste. All right, we're gonna move this one to the oven for just about 15 minutes or until it's slightly tender and charred just on the edges. While our broccolini is roasting, we're going to bring together our cheesy cashew cream sauce. Today, I'm using a high-powered blender. If you don't have a high-powered blender, I would encourage you to soak your cashews in hot water for a bit prior to moving it over to this step. In your blender, combine your non-dairy plant milk, raw cashews, 1 chipotle pepper, nutritional yeast, white miso paste, Dijon mustard, and lemon juice. This combination is absolutely amazing, but you do have some options just in case you're allergic or want to try something else that you may have in your pantry. For example, I'm using soy milk because I want to add more protein into the mix here, but any other milk would work. But I wouldn't go for anything that is sweetened or vanilla because I've done that before. The cashews, that can be swapped for something like macadamia, tahini, or maybe you're allergic to those. So I'm thinking you can do silken tofu, or one of my absolute favorites is to use butter beans. Go ahead and blend that up until it is absolutely creamy. It takes roughly about 1 minute and 30 to 2 minutes on the high-speed blender. You want it a bit liquidy because it is gonna act as your sauce, so you can add a bit more milk in there if you feel like it's a bit thick. Step 1 is in motion. Step 2 is complete. Step 3 is where we hone in on the zen. Everything slows down. Now, in a small bowl, combine garlic powder, black pepper, sea salt, chili powder, smoked paprika, turmeric, cumin, and some dried oregano. We're going to start caramelizing our onions. Add olive oil into a wide pan over medium-low heat and then toss in all your onions. You want to mix them up so they get coated with the oil and then sprinkle on a pinch of salt. This part is fairly easy. I usually set a timer for 2 to 3 minutes And then I reach in with my wooden spatula to give those onions a stir. This is gonna help pull out the moisture and the sugar, and the onions start to look a bit jammy. When caramelizing onions, typically, I go low heat only. I'm doing slightly higher because I wanna get this done slightly quicker. So we're gonna repeat the process of the timer and stirring for about 20 minutes. Obviously, you could do it a bit longer if you want even more out of your onions. This is the part of the recipe we're just slowing the whole world down. It seems everything is about quick and easy. Under 30-minute this, one pot that. And to me, these are all great things. But I like to sometimes just live in that moment. It might be hard to believe, but there's a bit of therapy there when caramelizing your onions. Okay, so at the 20-minute mark, add a splash of balsamic vinegar. This is gonna help us deglaze the pot, but also the depth of flavor that this add is unparalleled. And if the balsamic vinegar doesn't help you get all that goodness up, add a splash of water, vegetable stock, or even plant-based milk to help you loosen things up. Now, we're gonna add our garlic and spices into the pot. Cook until everything is extremely fragrant. This is how we're gonna bring all of the flavor out by toasting our spices. My mom's walking around the house, closing every single door. The aroma is encroaching everywhere. A little onion perfume here and there. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Up next in the skillet is our cannellini beans. Add those in and give it a good stir. These beans are pretty neutral in flavor, so you want them to soak up all that rich goodness. And now we're gonna add in our cheesy cashew sauce and allow it to just heat through. The miso has a lot of beneficial bacteria in there, so you don't want to bring this pot to a boil. So if you're a little scared of possibly, getting it to a simmer, I would just cut the heat completely off and then just stir it till it heats through. Everything should look creamy, melty, and perfectly saucy. Almost overly saucy in the best way. Eat it with rice, crusty bread. Honestly, any grain you can think of works here, or just entirely on its own. Finishing it up by adding other textures like pickled onions, sometimes even fresh ones, dry or even fresh herbs, or some toasted breadcrumbs to really change that texture up. I would say at this point, we can stick a fork in it, but to be honest, you get better mouthfuls with a spoon. So stick a spoon in it? Nah. It just doesn't sound the same. This full meal can be found linked in the description, or head on over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope all is well. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, believe in good. Peace.